I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself from pickpockets. There is a lot of pickpocketing going on in Las Vegas right now, especially of watches. I'm going to teach you how it works and how you can protect yourself. Just today in the newspaper, story was that 2 watches were stolen that valued at over $500,000. Some of these watches are so expensive and they're very easy to take. But you might also be going around with other things that are easy to take. If it's a wallet or a jewelry, and you've got to learn how to protect yourself against it. So first we're going to talk about the watches. Then we're going to talk about how it really happened in Las Vegas. One of them was at the club out of the bathroom. One of them was in the dance floor. Then we're going to talk about general tips that you can use to protect yourself. So first of all, before we go into the mechanics of how to remove the watch, let's talk about the way that this really played out. So as a guy, he was wearing a flashy watch in both cases. And if you know about watches, you can just recognize the fancy watches when you see them. I'm totally new to the watch world. I never had fancy watches my whole life, but now I have some pieces like this that are over $100,000. I'm totally kidding. This is a Timex watch, right? But if you know a lot about watches, then you can recognize the brands and the value from just like across a room. And once you do that, you're working with a team of people who are going to help you to steal the watch. Now, the way that all pickpocketing works is that bigger movements cover up smaller movements. That's a magic thing, where if I'm going to do something like sneaky with my fingers, I might do it in the action of moving my hand even more, because then you can't see the smaller move. So if you're going to pickpocket someone and you're going to go after that watch, what you want to do is create other sensations on their body that's even greater than the sensations caused by you removing the watch. Same with everything else. This is why it's so often that pickpockets bump into someone when they take something. That's not just to get close to the thing. That's because the force of bumping into someone is so disruptive that you can't possibly keep track of all the different things that are happening on your body when this disruption happens. So first one happens at the bathroom, where a guy is coming out of the bathroom and then a group of 4 guys surround him. And they're probably bumping into each other, bumping into him. They might be acting like they're having an altercation amongst themselves with that guy just in the way. They're acting like they're pushing him away or maybe involving him in the altercation. And while this is happening, there's going to be one guy who's in charge of actually getting the watch off. And then there's other people who are going to be bumping him in different ways while the person actually takes the watch off. Same thing happened on the dance floor, where there it's even easier. I'm going to reposition this so you can see how this scam works. But on the dance floor, imagine people are already bumping into each other. It's totally natural. So for you to get caught up in a group of people who are all bumping into each other, you might not even notice what happened until long after it's gone. And that's what happened in the Vegas story, where the thieves were long gone before they were caught, and now they are at large, now they're found and they're going to go back to court in January. So who knows? Maybe they're watching this video right now. Okay, I've repositioned my watch so I can now show you from the other side how to do it. You can see this is wearing the watch the wrong way, but if you were approaching someone this way, your hand would be coming on top in the right way. Maybe that made sense, maybe it didn't. So let's look at what actually needs to be done. First of all, you pull out the outer band here, and this is all done with one hand. Usually with watches, we do it with 2 hands, but here you can see everything can be done with one hand, and it just takes a few seconds to take the watch off. Now, you would think you would feel that, and yes, people do feel it, but our brain, we can only really focus on one thing at a time. Our brain works like a stoplight, so you understand this is why multitasking doesn't really work. It's the same thing with body sensations. We're only going to pay attention to the biggest sensation. But I know you're thinking, well, what about watches? What are the other pickpocketing things that people do? And how do you protect yourself from them? Because there's really 2 types of different objects that a pickpocket might go for. One of them is like watches or jewelry, necklaces, the stuff that is like by definition almost going to be visible, right? If you're wearing one of those fancy watches, you are wearing it to show it off. You're wearing a fancy engagement ring or a diamond necklace. This is all happening to show it off. Then there's a second type of thing that pickpockets go for, which is a wallet or money, different things there. Now, in these cases, people will always, you don't wear them out and about unless you're doing it on a chain wallet, but in this case, you might not have that much money and maybe pickpockets won't be as interested as you. So we've got the visible items and then we've got the invisible items. And it's so important that you do these two steps because if you're in a club and there's an altercation like this and people bump you around, let's say even in the moment you realize that you're being pickpocketed, and what are you gonna do about it, right? Are you gonna challenge four guys to a fight? Maybe you tell security about it, but are these guys getting paid enough where they're gonna fight these four professional thieves who are now running out of the casino, surely with a getaway car ready to go? Even if you realize it, you just go along with it, right? But most people are not going to realize it in the moment. It's just impossible when someone bumps you to always be looking out for pickpockets. So you have to do things in advance to protect yourself. First thing with jewelry, any type of luxury goods, whether it's a watch, a ring, the diamond necklace, a handbag, some of these Birkin bags can be quite valuable. Before you go out with the thing, you need to get insurance. That's not sexy, that's not fun, but I'm being real with you here. I'm telling you the unsexy, not fun stuff because I'm your friend, right? I got your back, so I hope you are following my page, by the way, because I got your back. If you're not following my page, go ahead, follow it right now. Yeah, that's great. You didn't do it, but that's fine. You will after the video. You got to get the insurance, right? Now, for the stuff that is not visible, but is instead guarded, right? For this stuff, you have to be sure to guard it in a way that is inaccessible to pickpockets. So for instance, men, for your wallet, the back pocket, it's quite easy to slip into the back pocket without someone noticing, especially if they bump into you. It's harder in the front pocket. It's even harder if you're able to keep something in an inner pocket with a zipper that goes up. Also, most pickpockets, if they don't know where your thing is, they'll probably look in your back pocket. And if it requires an extra step, like if you have one of those passport wallets or you have some extra type of security strap, you just have to imagine, if you're a pickpocket, instead of trying to be like, Ocean's 11 pickpocket, probably what you're gonna do is say, I'm just gonna find someone who does not have this strap, which leads to this extra inconvenience. These are my recommendations. I'm curious to know if you're still watching this, by the way, clearly you like me, clearly we're friends at this point, or you would have stopped watching by now. I'm curious to learn a bit more about you because I am new making these videos. This is new for me, making a video about how not to get pickpocketed. And I'm trying this new style of content where I talk about deception from a more practical, sometimes academic point of view, rather than the videos I used to do, which was just silly magic tricks, which can explain a lot of the weird stuff I have in the office, right? So I'm curious to know, how do you like this new style of video that's more information-based? Do you not like it, and should I do more of the magic trick stuff? Or are you finding this interesting? And if you are finding it interesting, what are the areas that you're curious about as it pertains to deception? Deception is my area of expertise because I have been doing magic since I was 5 years old. So I've gotten to trick people in a way that is morally good. Usually if someone's tricking you, we'd say they're a morally bad person. They're tricking you in order to get something from you. Maybe they're tricking you saying, I have this good investment, give me money and I'll make you more, but really they're taking your money. Maybe they're tricking you and they're acting like they're single, but they're married, or it can be some type of romance scam. We see trickery from media, politics, sales, so many places in the world where the trickery is bad. But magic is unique because it lets you trick people in a way that's morally good. Like, I know if I go see a magic show, I want the magician to fool me, and I'm upset if the magician is not doing tricks that fool me. That's just a lazy, bad magician, and it's morally good if you're an entertainer to actually entertain your audience. So I've always saw, trickery in with respect to magic is a morally good thing, and that's allowed me to study it from the inside out in a morally permissible way. And now I'm trying to take all of that knowledge and apply it to different walks of life and uncover all of the lies and deceptions that play out in the world. So if that interests you, I think you're gonna like my page, and I'm curious to read what you have to say. The page is still small enough where I'm reading all the comments. So if you leave something, I will read it. Are you curious to hear more about Las Vegas, that world, and scams? More about the lies and deception that go on in politics? I'm told we just hit a big election that everyone cares about. Or maybe there's some other topic. I'm curious, let me know. All right, thanks everyone, bye.